to talk to you some more about total forgiveness. I have made the point in a previous talk that total forgiveness is not necessarily reconciliation. And I also made the point that when you totally forgive, you don't tell anybody what they did. There are two exceptions to that, and I thought I should say something. I had a lady come into my vestry at Westminster Chapel, and she said, well, they found my rapist, and they want me to go on trial with him, or the court wants me to come and testify against him. I said, well, you must. Oh, she said, you've taught me to forgive, and I've forgiven him. I'm not going to testify. I said, well done you, that you've forgiven this person, but he's a danger to society, and your going on the stand would not show a grudge. You're just telling the truth. It's not personal. I believe you have forgiven him, but you need to do this and answer their questions. And so she did, and she had really forgiven him. And that is an exception I thought I should mention. The other exception is you need to tell one other person for therapeutic reasons. I told Joseph Tson, and I wasn't expecting to get the greatest wisdom of my life when he said you must totally forgive them. I was just telling him to get it off my chest, and I was hoping he would put his arm around me and say you ought to be angry. And then he gave me that word that revolutionized me: totally forgive them. Those are his words: totally forgive them. Never dreamed that one day I would write a book on the subject, and it's pretty well known, my book, Total Forgiveness. I think, I'm not sure, maybe 400,000 copies, about 20 languages, all coming from a personal word that changed my own life. And God will do the equivalent with you. I don't say you'll be an author, I don't say you'll be a preacher, I don't say you'll travel around the world, but I can tell you this: there's something you can do nobody else can do. Nobody can do it as well, and God knows that. You say, well, nobody knows about me. Listen, God knows where you are. He will find you. The first task is not to see what door can be opened up, but whether you will personally, truly, absolutely, totally forgive them. You don't tell what they do. You don't let them be afraid of you. You won't let them feel guilty. You let them save face. You protect them from their darkest secret. And you pray. And when you pray for them, you actually ask God to bless them. I remember saying to the Lord, Lord, bless this person, and then it was as though I heard a voice, and what if I really do bless them and answer your prayer? And I said, you wouldn't do that, would you? That's the point. You cannot ask God to bless them unless you mean it, for him to answer your prayer. And you know what? I pray that. I pray that for there are various people I pray for every day, and I ask God to bless them. It's a selfish request because the blessing I get is compounded. One other thing: total forgiveness is a life sentence. It's like when a physician gives you a pill and says you have to take this the rest of your life. I have to tell you, total forgiveness is something you have to do today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 6 weeks from now, 6 years from now. You'll have to do it as long as you live. Reason for that: make sure you don't backslide. And another thing is the devil will remind you of what they did and get you all churned up. You say, well, I've done it once, that's enough. You, my friend, have a faulty doctrine of sanctification. Total forgiveness is something you have to do as long as you live. Joseph was doing it 17 years after he forgave his brothers, which showed that he really had forgiven them. And so this is not a make-believe thing, so you do something to say, well, now maybe God will use me. You've got to mean it. It's got to be real. And when it's real, God can look down at you and say, now I think I can use you.